start because we appreciate that everyone's here, and I will speak in English. So our esteemed,
and I will speak in Greek.
Okay, so we're
Google Translate.
So I'll do my little introduction, and it's similar to last time, but a few different things, particularly for our new attendees, and we thank you very much for being here. So good afternoon to you all, and welcome to our special event. My name is Denise Dimitriou, usually Dionysia, and I'm representing the Modern Greek Teachers Association of Victoria, who chairs Pharos. Let me begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land on which we meet today, the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation. We pay our respects to their elders, past, present and emerging, and acknowledge their enduring wisdom. Thank you all so much for attending today, and we thank the Greek Centre for providing this venue. This is the second of our parent seminars. After the success of our first late last year, we had a great interest in having another one, and so here we are. And hopefully there are many, many more to come, and maybe, interstate as well, hopefully. We know you're motivated and committed to bilingual education and maintenance of Greek, and that's why you're here, even on a long weekend or with stormy weather outside. Some housekeeping issues, if you haven't already, please just sign the form that is circulating, just your name and email. We probably have it from your registration, but nevertheless, if you have some updated details, feel free to use the facilities at any time, no need to ask. And also, please.
I just want to say, you said a lot of wonderful things, but the idea about the pattern is interesting. I can't talk about it today, but if you're interested in the theorist, going right now to theory, who works best in this, it's Michael Tomasello, who's got brilliant books about it's very anti-Chomsky, and if you're interested in full linguistics, about how children learn language, and it talks about pattern discovery. And implied in some of what I'm going to show you later is pattern discovery. Once children get involved in pattern discovery, they become very interested in it, because what is more interesting to children than game playing? People trivialize what play is, but play is absolutely essential to early childhood learning. Play isn't play in the ordinary sense in which it's dismissed. It's actually very serious business for little children. It means imaginative work, imagining yourself in different roles, etc., etc. And the one theorist who works best with this is Michael Tomasello. And in particular, if you're interested in it, I'll give you some summary of his work. Okay, thank you, Ellie. Nick, we'll just might...
I start, I'll wear many hats. I'm here as a board member of the Greek community of Melbourne. Education Committee, head up the Education Committee, which oversees a wide range of Greek language programs, simply because one size doesn't fit all, probably never fit it all, and compared to previous education. If I'm involved with Greek language learning, is I don't want children today to face experiences that I did. Let's face it, the 70s and 80s, people didn't have a very good time in Greek school. They're probably sort of psychologically traumatized as well. Fortunately, things have changed for the better, but there still are challenges. I'm very interested. One of the biggest challenges, I think, is getting to the parents, because in the end, they're the gatekeepers. Once they're in, at least then we have some type of influence, then it's up to us to have the right approach and provide programs. So, yeah, could go on for ages, as it's a very complex, multi-dimensional sort of issue.
Because I freelance for the Greek Herald. I write about a number of issues, including education, but I'd also like to share my own education journey.
Sure.
So I grew up in Sydney. I went to Sydney Uni. That's where I did modern Greek, and I went to Greek school. And as soon as I finished uni, I left to go to Greece. One of my first roles in Greece was what a lot of migrants from expats did. I taught English to Greek students. Over that time, I didn't do that throughout my time there. I then went back into journalism, worked for Air's Athens News, a lot of newspapers, and had my own children there. So I did the opposite of what a lot of parents are doing. I spoke English with my children from the day they were born, and tried very hard. And it was easy because the government there also supported that. European integration, it was a given that even though they had an economic crisis and some parents couldn't afford €2 to send their kids on an excursion, they still paid for their kids to go to afternoon school, because they thought that by doing English and another language, whether it be French or German, their kids would then have a better standing when it came for them to go and get a job. which as a result, the British Council did special exams for students who were getting their proficiency in year 7 and had to apply for jobs, which was very beyond what they could do. So I saw from the moment I went to Greece in '94 to when I left, which was 2017, English was rapidly progressing and the language development was huge because of that support and because of the European way of doing things. And my kids didn't whine, but it was to the point that it made kids neurotic, really, because of the fast pace. And then I came to Greece, but then I came to Australia, and one of the things that I did here is I worked for the community schools. And there I saw, from when I left, this huge, disintegration of languages and the different expectations of parents, and I think that's a huge issue. So for me, it's very interesting to see what's happening, the rise of languages in Greece, what's happening here. My own children, who now my eldest is 25, and their own attitudes to language. So yeah, I'm just very interested in learning more about it and seeing what we can do.
Hi everyone, I'm Steffi from LaTrobe University Greek Studies program. I'm a member of Pharos, and I also honestly believe that we can change the trajectory of the Greek language in Australia, and I'm really excited to see what we can do collectively in that space.
Thank you very much, Michalis.
Hi everybody, I'm Michalis, originally from Cyprus. I'm mainly here as a parent today. I'm also a board member of the Cyprus community of Melbourne Australia, where I see all these issues that people are discussing as well play out in other. So my daughter is just about to turn 4. She goes to the Alpha Early Learning Center. But I'm also married to a non-Greek speaker, so the issues have been raised. So that I find that there's an extra challenge that I face because we don't speak. I speak Greek with my daughter, exclusively in Greek, but obviously I speak English with my wife, so that's another additional challenge. And yeah, I'm just here to learn. And we've got another baby coming soon, and so we do our best, but I feel like the odds are stacked against us, and we want to try and sort of do as much as we can.
The first word you should say to your new baby has to be in Greek.
Of course.
Yasso baby. Congratulations. Okay, that's very useful to do with your children. I'll describe a little bit how it works and the resources you need, and if you're able to do it with your older children, that would be something to do. It's a way of getting them to identify what languages mean to them and what Greek means to them in relation to other languages, but it's a very useful way to do what I'm recommending, which is that every family, including extended families between grandparents and their children and their grandchildren, it should have some kind of language plan, language policy, a family language policy. I'm about to put into publication a book through a publisher called Bloomsbury. It's an edited volume, and we've been doing this for about 4 years, and there's a really wonderful chapter about Galicia. Now, Galicia is a part of Spain, in the north of the country, and the Galician language is a separate language from Castilian Spanish, and although Spain has regional recognition of minority languages, there's still a lot of pressure against them. And this chapter is done by an Indian fellow who spent time there researching it. And it's a wonderful book about the agency, meaning the capacity of parents to work against the trends that come from outside. It's just another example of what I've been saying, that you don't have to accept the inevitability of the loss of the language. It can be resisted. It's happened in many parts of the world and is happening today. And in this, Anik Nandi, in his analysis of this, shows how the Galician parents, he looks through an ethnography of several families over a period of time, created Galician speaking and Galician favouring homes, and against the pressure for language shift to Castilian only. Just through, and these are mostly uneducated parents who just had a sense that they wanted to, that they felt their own identity was being eroded in this national incorporation thing that was going on from outside. So I just mention that because all around the world, what we're trying to do here is a common phenomenon. people don't want to be assimilated to the point where they lose their identity. They want to adapt and integrate into the world that they're part of, but you can do that, as our policies of multiculturalism have suggested, without the loss of your unique and desirable characteristics. So it's not a unique problem, it's a shared problem around the world, and everywhere in the Greek diaspora it is broadly the same. Okay, what I was going to do, I'm not going to do this now because it will take too much time. I was going to ask the people who, maybe we'll do it, some people who were here in November, maybe Michalis, you could start. What is it you remember of what we did? What have you tried with your daughter since then? But you already speak to her in Greek anyway, but have you tried anything from what came out of our thing, and what queries do you have today? Just kind of quickly.
Trying to remember.
Only good things.
Was a while ago. I guess I do remember examples you mentioned and how difficult it is with each generation. You had the example from Luxembourg, I believe, or Liechtenstein. In terms of techniques, I think you mentioned the idea of having rules in the house. So what happens? You can do it by room, for example, if we're playing or if we're watching TV. And I think that's one thing. TV and music only in Greek in my case, and Cypriot, some Cypriot as well. So in terms of music, also grandparents, she associates with the Greek language as well. So whenever we are video calling with my mom and my dad, that's exclusively in Greek. So again, you mentioned this idea of having one parent, one language rule, and also the sort of rooms and activities association. So I guess that would probably be maybe I was doing it before, but I wasn't as systematic.
Okay.
And after the workshop, I became much more, strict with it, because I realized that it sort of instills a certain discipline that's useful. Yeah.